Michael. Still in rags, I see. What a disgrace. Look at him. His mother can't even afford decent clothes for him. What a shame. Such a good boy, but his family is cursed. They will never rise above this poverty. Michael was a young and vibrant teenage boy of 17 years, who lived in the Makoko village with his mother, Dorcas, in a small hut on the outskirts of the village. He was always the last one to be picked when the children played. His clothes were torn and patched together, and his feet were bare, leaving his small frame exposed to the rough, unforgiving dirt of the village roads. The sun cast a warm, golden glow over the small village, which lay nestled in the heart of rural Nigeria. The air was thick with the scent of earth and open firewood. A few scattered houses made of dried mud and thatched roofs dotted the landscape, and the sounds of life filled the air, women washing clothes by the river, children running barefoot through the dusty lanes, and men gathering under the shade of trees, gossiping about the day's events. The village was peaceful. Every day, Michael endured mockery from the other children. They would laugh and call him rag boy or a poor Michael. They would stare at his clothes and say things like, "You can't even wear decent clothes. Look at you." Michael's heart always ached when the laughter of the children reached his ears. His mother, Dorcas, always told him to stay strong and not mind the mockery. "People may see your rags, but I see your heart. That's what makes you special, Michael," she would say, giving him a warm hug, even though they had little to offer each other. But no matter how much Dorcas tried to comfort him, Michael couldn't help but feel different from the other children. While the other boys wore shoes made from leather, Michael's shoes were made of rubber tires, and while the girls wore bright-colored dresses, he wore clothes that were patched together in a way that made them more holes than fabric. One afternoon, after running errands for his mother, Michael sat under a large tree near the village well, staring at the ground. His thoughts were filled with his dreams of becoming something more, a hero, a person of importance who could change his life and bring pride to his mother. But how could he? He had no money, no strong family, no beautiful clothes. How could someone like him become anything more than rag boy? They couldn't afford school either. His thoughts were interrupted by the loud laughter of the other children. They were playing with a ball that was much too big for them, but they seemed to enjoy it. "Michael," one of the boys called out, "come and play, if you think you can keep up." Michael looked up, but his heart sank when he saw their mocking faces. He didn't want to play. He didn't want to be the laughingstock of the game. But something in him stirred, a small spark that told him to stand up for himself. He stood up slowly, dusting himself off, and walked toward the group of children. "Maybe today will be different. Maybe today, I can show them that I'm more than just the poor boy in rags." He approached the children, a little nervous but determined. The boys looked at him, still laughing at his torn clothes and rubber shoes, but Michael didn't care. He joined in the game, running alongside them. Though they tried to laugh him off, he ran faster, his legs carrying him faster than anyone had expected. For the first time in a long time, Michael felt powerful. He felt free. The game was over, and the children were out of breath. They gathered around Michael, their laughter dying down. "Michael, you ran faster than all of us," one of the girls said, a little surprised. "Yeah," another boy added, "you're not so bad after all, rag boy." The village had always been peaceful. The villagers lived simple lives, farming, fishing, and trading. But one day, the peace was broken by the sound of shouting. "The king! The king is in danger," came a cry from the village square. Michael froze. The king, King Tutu, was the ruler of the village. He was a large man, always dressed in fine clothes and a crown. Michael had never spoken to him, but everyone knew the king was important. He was the symbol of power, and his safety was the safety of the village. Michael looked up and saw villagers running toward the village square, where the king's procession had been attacked. Bandits had entered the village, stealing from the marketplace and threatening the king's guards. They were armed with machetes and crude weapons, their faces hidden behind masks. Michael's heart raced. He wanted to help, but he was just a small boy in rags. What could he do against armed bandits? The guards had swords, and they were struggling. How could he fight alongside them? But then, Michael thought of his mother's words, "You are special, Michael. You have strength within you." He looked around, and that's when he saw it, a large branch lying by the side of the path. Without thinking, Michael grabbed the branch, feeling the weight of it in his hands. As he approached the bandits, Michael's heart pounded in his chest. He knew the villagers were watching. They were all scared, waiting for someone to step up. I may be poor, Michael thought, but I will not be afraid. Michael ran toward the bandits, shouting, "Leave the king alone." The bandits laughed when they saw him, calling him a fool. "Who is this dirty boy?" "A poor boy with a stick." "Come here and see what we do to foolish children," said one of the bandits. But Michael didn't back down. He swung the branch at the nearest bandit. With all his might, the branch hit the bandit's arm, causing him to stumble. The bandit's eyes widened in surprise, and for a moment, the other bandits stopped laughing. They didn't expect a small boy in rags to fight back. Michael swung again, knocking another bandit off his feet. The villagers watched, their mouths agape. Even the king, who had been cornered, looked on in disbelief. Michael didn't stop. He fought with everything he had, his stick moving with quick precision. The bandits, confused and afraid of this poor boy who wouldn't back down, turned and fled into the forest. The village square fell silent. Michael stood there, breathing heavily, his chest rising and falling. He had done it. He had saved the king. The next day, the village square was filled with people. The king stood in front of Michael, his eyes filled with admiration. "Michael," the king said, "you saved my life and the village. For your bravery, you will be honored. From this day forward, you are no longer just the boy in rags. You are a hero." Michael blinked, unsure of what to say. The villagers who had once laughed at him now stood in silence, their faces full of respect. The king placed a golden pendant around Michael's neck, a symbol of his new status. "You will always be welcome in the palace anytime, Michael." The king also betrothed his daughter about the same age as Michael to him. Gave his mother a very large farmland. Michael couldn't believe it. He had gone from being the boy everyone laughed at to being a hero. As the villagers clapped, Michael felt something inside him shift. He realized that his true worth had never been about the clothes he wore or the shoes on his feet. His worth was in his heart, his courage, and his willingness to fight for what was right. Moral lesson. Michael's story teaches us that no matter where we come from or what we wear, we all have something valuable inside us. True strength doesn't come from our appearance, but from our actions. Just like Michael, we can all be heroes, no matter how small or poor we may feel. Believe in yourself, and never let others' opinions define your worth.